I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is All the Mods 9, and today we jump into some blood magic, and we find ourselves in the mines of a very endless dungeon. Man, I tell you what, there's just so much to do in this mod pack, and I am excited to be able to dabble in all of these things. Some mods are going to take a little bit longer to cover than others, such as the one behind me, blood magic, and we've dabbled just a little bit in this last episode, and we kind of got to what I would call the midway point. So today we are going to be essentially upgrading this bad boy all the way to its, well, near max tier, just enough to be able to get the item that we're going to need for the All the Mods Star, and that is the reinforced speed runes. And if we have time, I also plan on kind of experimenting with some of the other neat features that we might be able to use later on, as a lot of these mods are going to have some very nice interactions with each other, hopefully helping excel sort of the production of some other items in other mods. Now, last episode, we were given just a little bit of a taste of the new dimensions to come that is in blood magic, and that being the edge dimension, which is currently what we're in. Now, this was very limited. We only had 4 doors, but the next place that we should be able to get into should have more, but that is going to require a little bit of work. So back at the base, I have set up the Tau fruit, and this is how we're going to be progressing further into this mod. So this right here is the Tau fruit. Now, I've done a little bit of experimenting, as you can see here, with like growth accelerating, and from what I'm seeing, it's not actually doing what I was hoping it would do. So we might have to let this naturally grow, because what I'm experiencing is, well, this is just not working. So maybe it does have to naturally grow in order for it to work. It could be that the area is claimed. I don't know if that should be an issue, but I will go ahead and unclaim it as well, just to make sure. But essentially what needs to take place is we need to have animals that are inside of this area here. So I am growing them up, and they need to be standing on one of these plots. And whenever this Tau fruit that we gathered from the edge dimension grows fully, well, it's supposed to pull like some of their life force out of them in order to grow. So this is supposed to be the method that we use to sort of progress to the next tier of altar. So this right here is the process we're working on, and that is to get the saturated Tau. I think I'm saying that right. So yes, it does need to be on here. Basically, the mob needs to be on top of the crop whenever it grows, and it will satiate its dark hunger. That's kind of scary sounding, but yeah, this should give us saturated Tau, which is what we need to use in order to get ourselves weak blood shards. Now, something else that you can technically try, because I'm still trying to grow these fruit, is it looks like we can potentially plant this and grow it. And the bone mill, notice it is actually harming, and we can just bone mill it this way. Okay. And there we go. So now we have saturated. So this is probably an easier way of doing it, is by go ahead and, yeah, definitely doing it this way, placing it in a singular location, making sure our cow is in here like this, and then just simply bone mealing it. And then that seems like it is working. And there we go. We have ourselves a saturated Tau. That's quite simple, actually. That's way easier than this entire setup that I did here. Because honestly, once you have this done, and once you have, well, at least one of these, right? Even just one of them, I think, works. It allows us to make our caps. Now that we have this, and I'm currently working on, by the way, making more of these slates. So now that we have this saturated Tau, we can start to get into some things. So we need to make this, which is going to require a Hellfire Forge, which is going to be the Sanguine Reverter, I believe that I'm saying that correctly. And then we're going to use that inside of the Alchemical Reaction Chamber. So here we go. Behind me, this is the Hellfire Forge, and right here, we have our common Tartaric gem, and you have to have gotten at least a common to be able to do this. So I pretty much did all of this last episode, getting through the progression of the Tartaric, and it's quite simple with our little setup that we have, and making sure you're using the sentient sword with this in your inventory, just kill some mobs. So let's go ahead and get all of these items placed in, and this should have enough. And it tells you, by the way, if you look underneath this ritual, if you hover over this, it'll say the minimum amount of will that you need and how much it's actually going to cost being the drained once it does perform. And there we go. We have ourselves the Sanguine Reverter, I believe. And then I've already made the alchemical reaction chamber. And so we can place this down in here. And yes, so we're going to place this in and then this in, but this is actually going to need a little bit more, I believe, right? In order for it to function? No, it just uses it. And there we go. We have ourselves a weak blood shard. So the weak blood shard is honestly kind of important. Oh, that's interesting. It looked like it. Oh, when you put this in, oh, it changes the texture. Oh, that's so goofy. I love this. All right. Well, looks like the textures are a little bit broken there, but the weak blood shard is all we need. So now that we have this, we can make our bloodstone bricks, and this is what goes on the caps for our next tier. So now that we have our caps, we can really start working on getting all of our runes placed in and exchanging all of these out for the runes. This is what's going to lead us into tier 4 of our altar. And we should need around 36, I believe, runes that can go around here. They don't have to be upgraded. They just need to be normal runes. So now with the runes in place, we can put our capstones on just like so. And when we look at our altar with our divination sigil, we are now at level 4, you can see in the top left. And so we can now start to make level 4 things. And that includes the ability to actually make these blood shards. So now we should be able to make, I believe, a master's blood orb. And this is going to cost 40 LP, and we're going to need a weak blood shard in order to do this in the first place. But we should have this, like no problem. Let's see. Let's go to blood. I think I put the stuff in there. So yeah, just one of these, we pop open here, just one of these being put in will allow us to now use this to make our shard, hopefully. This is going to cost 40, and it's probably going to drain pretty fast. So I'm going to have to stand here and do this for a little while until we have all of this converted. And this will be our next tier of blood orb. And perfect. There we go. So now I can just simply right click, and I don't know if on this, if we were to put this in here, that is going to generate the shards, but does it consume like LP? Oh no, it just converts it back into a shard and completely trashes it. That is not cool. I thought it was going to at least use some of it and give us, what? Why would I ever do that? Well, I guess back in we go to make the blood orb. And that's not okay. Well, I guess we're going to have to keep our farm running. I'm honestly kind of surprised that that didn't work the way that I thought. Oh, bummer. I thought we were going to be able to make more of them, but you know what? Having this little setup over here makes this kind of easy. So now with the tier 4 altar, honestly, we are at what I would call the end game of blood magic. So there's a few more things that we need to do. We still need to go to the demon realm. And that is where I mentioned at the beginning is going to be one of the most fun parts. We've already kind of gotten a taste of it from the edge realm. And well, with just a few helpful things like this, for example, this right here is the demon slate, which is the next tier slate. And some of these dusk inscription tools, we can then upgrade our ritual diviner to the next tier, which is the dusk version. This one is going to provide us with the ritual layout to be able to get to that place. So I just did a ton of rune crafting, and yes, the time in the bottle has really helped. We're at 26 total hours now, just stored up in here, and I've used a little bit of that time, and now down to 25 hours worth of time in here. It's slowly building up. Yeah, this is a little bit of time. But this is going to require, which is the endless realm, which is where we're going to be going. Pathway to the endless realm. This is going to require a total of 69 runes. Nice, right? So we should be able to simply build this. So I have all of the runes that are needed, and we just right click this and let it build it. It's so nice that it builds this. Imagine needing to build all of this out by hand. That would get kind of tiresome, I think. But yes, here we go. So once done, we still need to activate this sort of the same way that we have activated the other rituals. And I love how this fit perfectly in here. Now, the interesting part is because we have waystones, this is a temporary structure for me because we're going to go here once. And whenever we place a waystone, we no longer need this teleportation back and forth. So I'll be able to use the space for something else. But for right now, let's see if we can activate it. I don't know how much it's going to cost. Maybe the book will tell us. So I might want to check this out. So let's see. Endless path to the endless realm. So this is going to cost 150,000 LP, which I have over 200,000, I think, LP stored up inside of my crystal. And it should be still activated with the weak activation crystal. Okay, so this thing right here, and all we have to do is right click, rush of energy flows through you, and here it is. So this is the teleporter. Kind of interesting that this one sort of puts it up in the air, but all we need to get into this is maybe some keys, because the keys still matter, but definitely a waystone. And we're about to travel into what I call, I think this is a really cool dimension, because it's basically an endless dungeon runner. So 3, 2, 1, and now we've entered. Okay, so it is dark in here at first. Let's go ahead and turn the lights on, so we don't have to worry about torches, and we get ourselves a key right from the start. Now, it looks very similar to the last place that we went. Oh, we get another key over here too. But I'm going to go ahead and place a waystone. This is honestly a little bit different. And this is the endless realm. I'm just going to name it the endless. And we get to kind of pick and choose. Hopefully we find more keys. If not, this is the reason why we would have needed to craft keys, in case you run out. But looting these structures should be more than enough. I'm going to honestly head in this direction. Aha. We have enemies this go around. And so inside of each of these rooms, there should be some chests that might have some interesting mechanics in them. Looks like there's some will. I'm going to go ahead and use this, that way we fill our tartaric while I'm in here. But I am looking for some interesting materials that will be inside of these chests. And those items, for the most part, are going to be the demon material, which is going to be found in mine rooms, I think, throughout this building. We might be able to find some more in here, but for example, this chest, it has some of these slow burning oils, which if we need some of the stuff, we can always come back here. But let's go ahead and continue. And this is where this just continues on and on. And hopefully we find some more stuff. Oh, saturated. I'm going to need those. We just get saturated from in here. That's perfect. I will take as many of those. Also, I'll take some of these will crystals, because I think they're just used for crafting. Inside of here, we might be able to find more keys. So yes, we found more keys, more of the saturated. That just saves me some time by finding that, because we're going to need a bunch of it for the All the Mods Star. And so now that we found more keys in a room like this, we can continue on our journey and unlocking and picking different directions depending on where we want to go. Now at this point, I mean, we have mobs following us everywhere, and we do have some flight. I feel like this dimension should probably have some flight disabled in it as well. That might be something the Ultimate team might do in the future. Even though we can definitely get around very easily in here, I still feel like that would be kind of cool. And yeah, some of these chests, you just want to check everything, because you might find something that's worth grabbing, especially these gems and more of these saturated. All of this stuff will be pretty nice later on. And then also just figuring out, what door do I want to go down? Because you never know. One could lead you into the room that you're looking for, or one that has more keys. This one that I just noticed, it says right here, the door fizzles out, and that's because it was blocked by the other side. So if I go here, I'll notice, hey, I can honestly access more stuff. Let's see, what is this? Cutting fluid? That's something new. I'll grab that. I just love how the mobs are just hitting me, and this is not doing any damage at all. This is a combinational crystal. This is another type of crystal that you can make. Looks like it is a fairly easy crafting recipe. Ah, yes. We will have to break some spawners. And I wonder what all of these materials are going to be used for. Okay, flasks. That's kind of cool. Now, like I said, this is endless, so we can choose a direction for the most part. I think like if we head back to the main room, we can sort of pick and choose a direction. I know from time to time we'll have to turn, but let's just say we want to go this way. And we open this room, and then we open this room, and this opens into a bigger room, right? And we keep going until we run out of keys. And then hopefully we find more keys like throughout these areas, which we should, but there's a chance that we won't. And in that case, well, we're going to have to resort to going back and crafting more keys the way we crafted them last episode. Now, I just want to show you some of the locations that chests might be. So for example, inside of these bookshelves, you're going to find chests. So definitely worth opening these up and grabbing them if you can. Now, the best thing you can do is just continue to loot and hope you find more keys. Actually, that one room that I was just in, the ore room, it actually had a box that had 3 keys in it. So very, very nice. Now, this room is a spiral one. Kind of cool, but it does have some wither skeletons in it. These shouldn't be too bad for us to take out, especially with the Morgan sword. But this is crazy. Look at this. We now have like different levels. So not only are we on a flat plane now, we can now go up and down on different levels. So I can go up here, right? If I want to continue in this direction, we can go up. Oh, and this leads us into a corridor, a hallway. And then we have this room. Hopefully I find more keys because I just ran out. But it has will. And I'm trying, by the way, to like just put all of the things that you can find in this area inside of this bag as I continue to loot. We should find some keys in this. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. And no more keys. Oh, so yep, this might be the situation where I have to go back and gather more keys to come back. And for that, it might be a good idea to place down a temp waystone. That way we can come back to that exact point in that dungeon once we've crafted more. And this right here is how you go about crafting more of those keys, in case you are wondering. It's just going to require some imbued, some iron, some redstone, and your tartaric filled with just enough. Now, as far as a pattern goes, when it comes to opening these doors, I have no idea. I know that like not doing that, wasting keys by knowing if there's a room directly next door, it's just really hard to see with the mobs. But even this one fizzled out of existence, and there's no reason there should, because there shouldn't be anything there. This, however, is locked. This is a dungeon seal. I don't really know what that means. Is that the same symbol that this one has? No. So this is a different room that is over here, blocked by a magical spell. Special dungeon seal. So apparently we need to find some sort of rare keys to potentially be able to open this. It says sneak to view. And this right here, it talks about it right in this section. So this is something I definitely want to mark to be able to come back to. Now, back in that main hallway that spiraled up, there might be some stuff up at the very top. Aha, yes, there is. Oh, and this is it. This is demonite right here in the main hallway. Okay, so we get some will. Let's make sure to clear out as many of the mobs as I can. I'll go ahead and knock out the spawners, might as well. And there is a demon crystallizer here and here that we can definitely take, and a demon crucible. I think this is a mechanic where you can produce will without killing mobs. And here we go. We have even more good loot. Okay, but this material that I see in front of me is the stuff that I absolutely want. This is demonite. Okay, so this is the ore that I need to grab. So I'm going to grab all of these chests. This is all loot I think that might be worth it, aside from like the diamonds and stuff. And let's see. Let's go ahead and mine this. I do have Fortune 6. And there we go. So we got a bunch of scrolls. It says it has stored experience. What does it mean by stored experience? 1,000 spell casting interrupted. Let's do the spell cast in the air. What does it say? Oh, so it just gives me levels. Oh, that's nice. Very cool. So there's some demonite. And then there's some demon stone here. I don't know if that's necessary that we grab it, but I'll go ahead and grab it just for the sake. That's pretty cool though. So we still haven't found an ore room, but I mean, I guess this is an ore room technically. Goodness. So some of these rooms, it does appear that you can't open. This one has a like broken portal. And it said it had a seal on it, but I couldn't use the other keys to open that up. So this normal key seemed to have worked. Is there anything like in this lava? That'd be really hard to tell. Doesn't really seem like it, but I did find another room over here. Now I've got to keep looting this. I can't just stop. Let's see. Will a normal key open this? Oh, it does. Oh, this is an ore room. And this has a foreman's key. I wonder if this key is what will open up that other room that we just found. But yes, even though I have found demonite, I still don't have the means just yet to be able to gain access to some of the other stuff, right? So I am going to need parts. right? We are going to need these intricate Hellforge parts, and these are found in the dungeon. And it says these parts are currently beyond our crafting capabilities. So I'm wondering, are we going to have to constantly loot for them until we have enough to make all of the components we're going to need? Because it does seem like that will be quite a hassle. Ooh, here's another regular key seal. Okay, so this is just a normal room. There's a lot of nice things everywhere. Another one of these. Still not, I don't think I'm finding the rooms yet that will contain those Hellforge parts. So right here, I've traveled to that door that was locked earlier, and let's try and use this key. Oh, and it works. Okay, so is this, what is this? There's a rail cart. Should I do the, okay, this looks like the rail cart's broken. But there is a rail cart here. Oh, and it has some good loot in here. Okay. Lots of demonite ore. And I'm not going to send it, but I am going to go ahead and peer around as much as I can through this area. There's a ton of blood laying down. Lots more chest. Oh, it'd be really nice if we found those parts here. And a netherite pick. Ooh, 2 miner's keys. Ooh, and a netherite axe and a helmet. You know what? And some scrap. That's pretty cool. Wait, is this its own subset of dungeon now? Because we just found these minor keys. What exactly do these unlock? There's also a little tucked away room over here that was sort of hidden. And this has another netherite pick in it and a little bed. What's interesting is these are craftable with the Hellforged ingots. But I don't know just yet what they unlock. I'm sure we'll find out. This isn't considered part of the mines, right? Okay, the key is not, okay, does not fit in this lock. So this is its own like subset. This is straight up a mine that requires these keys. What? We have found our own subset. Oh, and this is where we find the Hellforge. Oh, okay. So we had to find the mines, and now we can craft these and continue our journey through this subsection of the mines. Ooh, maybe we'll find more keys in here. Oh, but these are where we're getting these parts. This is how we're going to farm these, is we have to farm it from this area. This, I think, is the only way you can get these parts. So this is now becoming way more intricate than I even originally thought. So we have to make our final Tartaric. I believe the Greater Tartaric will be our last one. The demonic, we're going to need some will crystals, which we got from inside. Some of the shards, and then a common Tartaric. And then we need at least 1,000 will to be able to initiate this. So we are right there on it. Almost have the ability. We just need to get just a bit more. I think this holds 1,048, I believe, total, or 1,024? 1,024. So there we go. So all we have to do is put this in, and we should be ready to go, and that is going to craft up the next tier Tartaric, and that allows us to make these minor keys, and we can just continue using the crystals that we found inside of here to make these keys. And that should allow us to get several parts, because we are going to need several of these if we plan on making the Altamont Star, because located here in the Master of the Undead, this requires 4 of these apiece. Each one of these reinforced speed runes require us to have the final tier slate, and we also are required to have an intricate Hellforge part, and that's probably the most painful part of this, is just hoping that you unlock enough rooms from this mine to be able to get this. And it's supposedly an endless dungeon, so we should be able to eventually get them. It's just to make 9 of them really requires a lot of time. So 36 of these are what's needed. We found, I think, 3 in one room. So hopefully if we make enough of these keys, which shouldn't be too bad to do now that we have a Greater Tartaric, we should be able to handle ourselves pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and transfer all of this over to our Greater. You'll hold down Shift right click, and that will transfer all of the will into the new one. And then we just need to continue farming up our will. So I'm now back in the mines. Just going to go ahead and, oh, look at that. We can get some resonators. Resonators are honestly kind of useful in here. This area, are we going to find any more parts? Oh, no parts, unfortunately, but this does have multiple levels. So maybe there's some parts in here. I'm hoping that each room contains some sort of parts. Oh, otherwise it's going to make this a little bit more difficult, because making these keys are not the cheapest thing in the world. because they do require crystal, which we have to farm in a very specific way. Okay. Or find them in the dungeons. That is another thing that we can definitely do. Yep, not finding them. Interesting. Please. Nope, but I will. Every time you see these crystals, that's more keys, technically. You need one per key. So every time you find this, it's like technically 3 keys. That's one good way of looking at it. Tell you what, this is going to be one heck of a journey, but this is honestly really fun. Like, I love going through these mines. I couldn't imagine, though, without flight. Like, the need for, like, constantly some way to travel up and down through this would get kind of difficult. But just look how much demonite there is here. Like, we'll never need to worry about that. Just the sheer dungeons. The only thing that, like I said, I am super worried about is how am I going to find these parts? They just seem so rare. They're just only in one particular type of room. And 36 of them needed. That's so many. Like, this is a new room, I think. Is there parts? Nope, no parts. There's lava. Ooh, there is a floor up here, but yet again, there is no sign. Oh, there's a chest right here. No sign of more of those parts, unfortunately. So now, this is honestly good to know, because I opened this chest and it had one of these parts in it, which means that there's the potential for any of these chests that we find throughout this area to have it in here. So this could just be bad luck on my end of not finding it within the first few rooms. So yeah, there's a chance that it could be in any room. Ooh, I just found this room where I had to break to get to the chests. Oh, and look at this. Yes, just a ton of different material. I don't know what the ethereal mimic is that I just got, but we just apparently got this. And I don't know where this even comes from. Breaking the 4th wall here. Blood magic is not entirely feature complete. And, okay. So there's something, I guess we just ended up getting this that was not complete. I think it came from us breaking the walls, actually, which is kind of weird. Also, every time we break this stone, we end up getting coral tombstone stuff, which is kind of cool, but also kind of annoying at the same time. Yeah, no luck here. But I mean, I can make these keys almost effortlessly now. This is adorable. There's like a little cafe or break room in here. Just a little break room. Yep, just chilling. So there's still tons of rooms that we have yet to find. So I'm definitely finding these parts in here because I just found a piece there in this room, which was the same as the other one that we found those parts in. Okay. Oh, and there's another one. Okay, so I'm definitely on a roll right now. I just found 2 in this chest. I wonder if the loot changes the further in you go? Surely not. That would be a really cool mechanic, though. Oh, there's another one. This right here is another new room that I just found in the mines. So I wonder how many different variants there are. This is just super cool. Like a cool, like, little dungeon crawl. Take your brain away from all of the massive automation. Oh, there's a ton of hoppers here. Oh, and there's even these polish. What are these called? These are part of blood magic, right? I feel like I've seen these before. These right here, output routing nodes. Interesting. I think there's an item transport. Oh yes, this is. I think there was there's a way to transport items within blood magic. Very, very cool. And this is also another room. Just even more. I feel like I'm finding more and more variants, and this is like just from the like mining section. I mean, seriously, how many variants are there? This is another one. An entirely different variant of room. So right as I ran out of my last key, look at that. I just got 38. There was actually 4 inside of one chest, and I also grabbed one that had 5 in one chest, which is honestly just ridiculous. Also, I did realize what these blocks do. These ethereal mimic. Yeah, they look like regular blocks, but they are completely, you can walk right through them. I didn't even realize I've been breaking them this entire time. Now at this point, we should have everything we need to complete the blood magic section of this. And that means we are going to have a tier 5 altar. And the only thing we need to do for a tier 5 altar is we just need to finish out the runes. And we're going to need 60s, 15 per side. And so we're just going to need 60 more. And then when the end caps are honestly kind of interesting. The end caps on the actual altar, if we go all the way back to the beginning and we go to the blood altar and we take a look at the different sizes, by the way, which you can see, you'll notice these end caps are a little bit different. And this is going to require, I believe, the demon blocks. So the tier 5 will be blood runes, the Hellforge blocks at each corner, and then that's basically it. So pretty much this setup, there won't be any end caps here, but these blocks right here, I believe if I take a look at the image again, there's going to be a space. Actually, we might have even less. It looks like the view. Yeah, so honestly, it looks like this will be open, and then we'll have our caps here. So it's actually less than 60. I do have exactly 60 on me, because I think the prior design would have a beacon here, but since this has all been developed, it's no longer beacons on the end caps here. It's actually that ore that goes right here. So as soon as we put our end caps in, just like so, we will now have a tier 5 altar. And so we should be able to see that if we go into blood magic, and I think I have my sigil in here. This is now in the top left, as you see, an actual tier 5 altar, which means we can now make the final slate that is required for making each of these, which means we're going to need a total. So after all of this, we're going to need a total of roughly 36 of these slates. And these things are not cheap. So just to go from the demonic slate tier to this tier costs 30,000 blood. That's a lot. Then you got to keep in mind, this costs 15, and then the prior costs 5, and then that costs 2. So that's a lot of blood required for each one of these. Now, there are a couple of different routes that you can go that will make this process easier. One being the ritual of Well of Suffering. Now, the Well of Suffering does cost LP to run. It's not free, and it does use your soul network. So whatever you currently have available in your soul network is what it will use to create more blood in your altar. So in reality, you could technically set up 2 of these. Now, you don't need them to be on max tier, but you could set up 2 wells. You basically have a small blood altar with another well on it, and it gets kind of expensive. And then you just hope that that well can supply enough blood for this altar. So there is kind of some win and loss there. And it's something that you kind of want to pick your battles. If you're going to continue into blood magic, definitely recommend the Well of Suffering. In my case, I think me crafting these manually is not going to be a big deal, as once we get these crafted, we'll probably never have to worry about this really again. So with some upgrades to the structure, this has actually gone by quite quick. We're actually making the last one right now, and just some self-sacrifice, some runes of capacity, and then definitely some augmented capacity, which is the 3rd tier, which definitely allows you, I think it increases it by 7% or what have you of your total capacity. And so we're up to producing at this point, when this thing is fully maxed out, at like 72 buckets, I think, worth that it holds. So quite a bit. But there we go. This is the 36 in total that we need. But we also still need 36 speed runes. And there we go. We now have the reinforced speed runes, 36 of them to be exact. And that is only enough for 1 block worth of all the mod stars. That's if we can even get to that point, which we definitely will, I believe. But that is just for 1 block worth, just 9 stars. We're actually going to need 2 of them if we plan on making the bee. So we might have to come back and revisit this later on, but it's going to be a lot easier because we've already gathered most of the materials. I think we just have to run more of the dungeons a little bit deeper, but that is honestly really easy now that we have access to everything. And the same goes for probably trying to figure out how to automate this setup right here, and also potentially doing this, because we're gonna have to do everything that we have done up to this point that's star related twice, because you can see right here, it is going to require 2 full blocks, but then it becomes unlimited. So with that, we are very, very close to being able to make ourselves the wither compass. We are going to need to automate the cataclysm mobs, in which we've already figured out a way to do that, and also farm some of these hearts, which apparently we can get from just a warden prediction from the loot fabricator, which is going to play a very important role in this pack. Basically the entire reason that we upscaled our power a few episodes ago. So with that, I think there's still some big things that we're going to have to eventually do with blood magic if we're going to want to make this a little easier on ourselves, and that is going to be those rituals that I did mention before, and figuring out a way to send some fluids and maybe recirculate them either between 2 blood magic altars, or we could just figure out how to pipe things to and fro, which is another thing that you can also do. You can transfer these fluids from one location to another. but that is going to have to be on another episode, because today we're all out of time, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully you've learned something about blood magic along this journey, and if you have, click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give this video a huge thumbs up, and also comment down below, what should we be working on next? Because there's a ton of mods to work on. Let me know what you'd like to see. And guys, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Andrew P. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord and becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Bye.